Alrighty guys, welcome to our college basketball free pick video here today for Friday, February 3rd, 2023. Happy Friday to you, the weekend's finally here. My name is Brock Page. I've been doing free sports picks on YouTube since 2016. And if you want to see which one of these free plays on this video that I'm actually betting on personally, you may want to think about signing up for my board member package on my website. Board members get access to every single personal play, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. The math works out to be just $1.66 a day, cheaper than a cup of coffee. And once again, guys, my website is patreon.com/BrockPage. I currently have over 505 members. We're signed up and active on that site right now. And as an added bonus, guys, if you sign up for my full access, all-inclusive board member package here today, you're going to get access to my full NBA pick show video as well for Friday, February 3rd, 2023. That NBA video, that's exclusive only to board members here today. And with that, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to take a look at Yale squaring off against Harvard, 5 o'clock Eastern start time. Yale's -2.5, totals 134 and a hook. Now, the Yale Bulldogs are on a 3-game heater, and they've been really tough to score against this year. These guys allow just 60 points per contest, and they're in the top 20 in defending the field goal. They actually have a defensive field goal percentage of just 39%. August Mahoney, he has a dozen steals on the defensive end of the court. He's also drilling nearly 48% of his three-pointers. When it comes to offensive production, Matt Noling is scoring a team-high 14 points a game. Now, they're facing a Harvard team who's had a tough time on the offensive end of the court themselves. They're scoring just 67 points a game, and they barely make 30% of their three-pointers. When it comes to shooting from the stripe, the Crimson make just 65% of their free throws. Now, total-wise, Harvard is 6-1 to the under in their last 7 at home. They're also 70% to the under for the entire season at any location. Meanwhile, Yale saw 6 out of their last 9 road games stay under the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward Yale, -2.5, under 134 and a hook. Next contest, it is going to be Cornell taking on Princeton, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Princeton's -3, totals 157. And even though Cornell scored a whole lot of points this year, their second leading scorer is questionable to play. Now, the Big Reds also played little to no defense this year. They're allowing just 80 points a game on the road. And their opponents are making nearly 50% of their field goals against them when they travel. They're also facing a Princeton team who's playing some pretty good basketball at the moment. These guys are 6-2 straight up in their last 8. And they're also one of the better rebounding teams in the game. The Tigers are currently in the top 15 in offensive boards per contest. Tosan Ibu-Mawan grabs 6 rebounds a game, and he also scores 13 points a night. Meanwhile, Matt Aloko is drilling 42% of his three-pointers. He's also scoring double-digit points a game. Now, total-wise, Princeton saw 4 out of their last 6 at home get over the number. Meanwhile, Cornell went 70% to the over in their last 10 at any location. I'm going to lean toward Princeton, -3, over 157. Next ball game, it is going to be VCU taking on St. Louis, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. St. Louis is -3.5, totals 141. Now, the Billikens are 10-2 straight up in their own arena. And they're a top 10 offensive rebounding team in the country. Francis Okoro averages over 8.5 rebounds a night. He's also scoring nearly double-digit points a game. Meanwhile, Gibson Jimerson averages a dozen points a game himself. When it comes to defensive play, St. Louis is limiting their competition to just 38% shooting from the field at home. Now, they're facing a VCU squad who struggles offensively on the road. These guys are averaging only 66 points a game away from campus. They're also one of the worst offensive rebounding teams in the Atlantic 10. Now, total-wise, VCU saw 5 out of their last 6 stay under the number. Meanwhile, St. Louis went 4-2 to the under in their last 6 themselves. I'm going to lean towards St. Louis, -3.5, under 141. Next ball game, it is going to be Boise State taking on San Diego State. 9 o'clock Eastern tip-off. San Diego State's minus 5.5, totals 133 and a hook. Now, the Aztecs were held to just 66 points in a loss to Nevada just a few days ago. They're also having a tough time grabbing offensive boards at home. They're facing a Boise team who's arguably the best defensive squad in the Mountain West. The Broncos allow only 60 points a game. They're limiting their opponents to just 27% shooting from three-land. Max Rice has 21 steals on the year, and he also scores 13 points a night. Now, Rice also makes 43% of his three-pointers and 91% of his foul shots. Meanwhile, Tyson Degenhart, he's scoring over 14 points a game himself. Now, when it comes to the injury report, Marcus Shaver and Najee Smith, they are questionable to play. And when it comes to the total, Boise saw unders against the likes of Air Force and Fresno State. Meanwhile, San Diego State saw 3 out of their last 6 stay under the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward Boise State plus 5.5, under 133 and a hook. Next contest, it is going to be Kent State taking on Akron, 9 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Akron's minus 1, totals 133. Now, Akron's a perfect 10-0 straight up in their own arena. When it comes to defensive play, these guys have been real tough to score against. They're allowing only 63 points per contest. Xavier Castaneda, he's leading the team with 20 points a night. He also drills 40% of his three-pointers. Meanwhile, Enrique Freeman, he's scoring over 15 points a game himself. Now, they're facing a Kent State team who's had troubles offensively in recent head-to-head meetings. The Golden Flashes are averaging only 64 points a game in their last 10 games against Akron. Kent State's also arguably the worst defensive rebounding team in the MAC. Now, total-wise, the Golden Flashes are a staggering 9-1 to the under in their road games. They're also 70% to the under for the entire season. Meanwhile, Akron saw 8 out of their last 10 meetings with Kent State stay under the total. So once again, if you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. I'm going to lean toward Akron minus 1, under 133. Next matchup, it is going to be Air Force taking on Nevada, 11 o'clock Eastern start time. Nevada's minus 11, totals 133. Now, the Wolfpack failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4. They're also one of the worst offensive rebounding teams in the Mountain West. They're facing an Air Force team who does a nice job grabbing defensive boards, especially on the road. And even though they've struggled recently, the Falcons covered in 5 out of their last 7. Ethan Taylor's drilling nearly 41% of his three-pointers. Jake Heidbreder, he's also scoring nearly 14 points a game. Now, total-wise, Air Force saw 5 out of their last 8 stay under the number. Meanwhile, Nevada saw unders recently against the likes of UNLV and San Jose State. I'm going to lean toward Air Force plus 11, keeping that one close, under 133. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be Fresno State taking on UNLV, 11 o'clock Eastern start time. UNLV's minus 8, totals 131. Now, the Runnin' Rebels won their last 3 straight. They covered in all 3 of those victories. They're also doing a nice job offensively in the Thomas and Mack Center. These guys are scoring 76 points a game in Las Vegas. Justin Webster's drilling nearly 50% of his three-pointers. Meanwhile, E.J. Harkless, he's scoring 17 points a game himself. Now, they're facing a Fresno State team who's arguably the worst scoring team in the nation. These guys barely average 60 points a game. They're making just 28% of their three-pointers. Now, when it comes to the total in this one, Fresno saw 3 out of their last 5 stay under the line. Meanwhile, the Bulldogs, they're also 65% to the under for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward UNLV minus 8, under 131. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. I like Brown minus 1, over 140. Ball State minus 10, over 151. SIENA minus 5, under 136. IONA minus 14, under 135.5. University of Penn minus 14, over 145. Princeton minus 3, over 157. Rider minus 6, under 127. Quinnipiac minus 5, under 137. St. Louis minus 3.5, under 141. Niagara -3, under 132. Boise State +5.5, under 133 and a hook. Akron -1, under 133. Air Force +11, under 133. And with my next and final free pick, I'm going to lean toward UNLV -8, under 131. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website. Now, if you guys do end up getting a package here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, you are going to get access to that membership for the next 30 days. And of course, as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. But most importantly, guys, gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Well, that said, guys, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.